this is so interesting. Oh, hi. You just caught us reading a book about the Shang Dynasty.
Hi, I'm Lily.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Olivia.
The Shang Dynasty included 30 kings, social classes, beautifully crafted art, and many other interesting features.
Now let's take you into the book and teach you about what we know.
The Shang Dynasty ruled over ancient China from 1570 to 1045 BC. It was the first dynasty to have real proof of existing. The first Shang king was Tang. It said that King Tang spent 17 years fighting a long war full of bloodshed and tragedy until he finally overthrew King Ji of the Qia dynasty. The kings in the Shang dynasty were a really big part of the government because they were in charge and rule over ancient China. The Shang king was authoritarian, which means the king could do whatever he wanted, and everyone had to listen to him. The first king was King Tang, who reigned 30 years. Pan Zhang, who moved the capital to the city from Anyang to Yin, when his ancestor spirits told him he was in the wrong place. In the Shang dynasty, the government used feudalism. Feudalism was where several lords controlled pieces of land all over China.
There are 4 classes in the Chinese society in which are all treated very differently. The first class consists of scholars and government officials, who are treated with the most respect. The second class are the farmers, because they produce food for people who don't have farms to produce their own food. The third class made up of the artisans, because they create the jewelry and art. The fourth and final class includes the merchants, the people who sell things to other people.
In the Shang dynasty, the government used feudalism. Feudalism was where several lords controlled pieces of land all over China.
Writing was developed using the earliest Chinese pictograms. These pictograms developed into what is now modern-day Chinese characters.
In the Shang dynasty, men were the working members of the family. Only boys were allowed to go to school. Schools were usually temples and had only one teacher to teach everybody in the school. In school, they only learned how to read and write. School started at 6 o'clock in the morning and went until 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day, including weekends.
Children played an important role in their families during the Shang dynasty. Most kids helped their mother in the fields and taking care of younger children. Children were taught to respect their elders and be polite at all times.
Women were not treated the same way as men in the Shang dynasty. Women were important, though. They were needed to work in the fields. When women got married, they had to leave their homes and go live with their husband's family. Women must obey their husband's orders in addition to their mother-in-law's orders.
Important inventions in the Shang dynasty were the horse-drawn spoke-wheel carriage, rice wine, and chopsticks.
What you ate in the Shang dynasty depended on your social class. Most people ate a diet of beans, rice, and grains, but rich people could afford meat. On special occasions, the ancient Chinese would eat unusual meat such as
The Shang dynasty is famous for their high-quality jars and plaques. Red and yellow symbolized beauty, joy, and power. Many plaques and jars were made as offerings to the gods. The finest pottery was placed in the king's tomb to aid him in the afterlife.
Early Chinese religion put great emphasis on honoring their ancestors. To communicate with their ancestors, Shang people wrote on turtle shells and ceremonial animal bones called oracle bones. The Shang dynasty ended when Wu, a villager, disliked the rules and rebelled against the Shang in a great battle. In the end, Wu won. King Zhou committed suicide to avoid imprisonment and torture.
Around 70 years ago, most archaeologists thought the Shang dynasty was just a legend, much like the Qia dynasty.
But then, in northern China, many archaeologists found turtle shells and animal bones that recorded the history of the Shang dynasty.
After that, they knew that the Shang dynasty was not a myth. They also found archaeological evidence that the Shang dynasty existed, such as pottery and bronze work. The Shang dynasty was a really amazing dynasty. Although not much of it was known, archaeologists are finding more information about the Shang dynasty day after day. Thanks for watching.
We really enjoyed sharing our information with you.
We hope you learned a lot about the Shang dynasty.